Hi, welcome to the Public Health Internship Orientation. This is for professional public health students who are looking to complete your internship during the spring 2022 semester. So this is for undergraduate internships, and it is being presented in the fall of 2021. Here we go. This video is narrated, so adjust your sound as needed, or you can view it with closed captioning, which will be available through a YouTube viewing option on our website, publichealth.arizona.edu/undergraduate/internships. Hi, welcome again. I want to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Laura Gromwald, and you can see my contact information here, laurag1@email.arizona.edu. I use she, her pronouns, and my office hours are by appointment via Zoom or phone. And I will be guiding you through your internship experience. I'm excited to be supporting you as you search and secure that experience, and then in the internship class itself during the spring semester if you end up following through and going for it in the spring. Our advising team is also a great source of support, so make sure you're talking to your advisor about planning your courses when the internship makes the most sense. And questions for them too. Some of them have even done internships here. So I'm excited to work with you, and I like to share with students that part of what I like about this job is supporting students in this pre-professional experience. Most of our students say it's one of their favorite things that they do as a College of Public Health student. So I'm excited for you. Wanted to give you a little bit of information about me. I've been an educator for 20 years. I've taught in both traditional college classroom settings, online, and in community settings. My academic training is in writing and cultural criticism and critical thinking and college teaching. And in fact, I created the Public Health Narratives class, HPS 307, for anyone who has taken that or may be interested in taking that to fulfill your upper division writing requirement. And I practice from a social justice background. I practice social and emotional learning. I taught a lot of kindness lessons when I was the director of education at Ben's Bells Project. So I've seen things from the student side in the university setting, and I've supervised interns in a community agency at Ben's Bells Project. So I'm here to support you as you begin this search. I'd like to read our land acknowledgement statement now. We respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the O'odham and the Yaqui. Committed to diversity and inclusion, the university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and indigenous communities through education offerings, partnerships, and community service. So here's what this internship orientation video is going to cover: what will count as a public health internship, how many hours you'll need to complete, tips for finding and securing an internship, a little bit about the forms that you will fill out, and some other things too. There is a worksheet, so if you haven't downloaded this already from the public health website for undergraduate internships, you're going to want to pause the video and do that now. Every student who will be moving forward with searching for an internship needs to turn this into me, to submit it to me via email. So make sure you've got this in front of you, and then you can just pause the video when you are ready to enter your answers in. I also, now that you've got that worksheet, encourage you to pause the video again and take a moment and just define for yourself what is public health. So pause the video and take a few seconds to define, to write down your definition of what public health is. Okay, hope you took a moment to do that. This is my definition of public health. It's about the science and art of preventing disease, promoting health, and protecting and prolonging life through the organized efforts of a society. So you can see those 4 P's at the bottom of the slide here: prevention, promotion, protection, population. We focus on those. As you know from your public health classes, it's thinking about improving the quality of life that for people, about sociocultural factors that influence health and health behavior. It's about the way we plan and implement and evaluate health education programs and other health programs. It's about eliminating disease and eliminating accidents as much as we can through building awareness about the dangers of health behaviors and also encouraging healthy behaviors. And then thinking from that population level. So not just thinking about the individual level, but carrying out our mission through organized efforts to address health concerns in communities of a population. So we're not just focused on that clinical experience for one person's health, but on a group of people. Here's a little bit more detail in terms of being public health focused. These are some of the areas of coursework that you no doubt have engaged in already or will engage with while you're a College of Public Health student. So as you're thinking about an internship, if it's not an internship that you have found on the hub, you want to ask yourself if there's a clear connection to public health with the internship. And I'll go over this a little bit more in detail, but if there's not, then you're going to want to keep looking until you find something that's public health focused, and that keeps us in alignment with our national accrediting body, CEPH, and also in alignment with the curriculum that our faculty have developed. So this gives you a quick snapshot of public health versus clinical health. A clinical health experience will not count for your 6 required internship units for public health. They're great experiences and you may want to do those, and they might count for some other coursework in a minor or something else. But for your public health required internship, it has to be focused on a population versus an individual. Focusing on health and wellness versus focusing on sickness. Focusing on prevention, promotion, and protection versus diagnosis and treatment. So a lot of questions about whether an internship will qualify fit into this category or this paradigm here. Is it public health or is it clinical health? And you always want to be able to say that your internship is public health focused. And why is it a requirement to graduate? That's a question that a lot of students have. There's a lot of reasons. In addition to keeping us in alignment with our national accrediting body, we know as a faculty and staff that we really value that hands-on experience for our students, that we want you to have a practical application for your classroom concepts. This experience helps students clarify their interest within public health and healthcare. It helps you see what it is like in a workplace, therefore will prepare you for life after graduation, and it will help you expand your professional network. So your course options for internship are the required internship, which everyone graduating from the College of Public Health must do, and that's 6 units of the required HPS 493A. Honors students can choose to do some of those units as an honors internship, 493H. And then we have an elective internship that is public health elective or general elective credit, and that's 493B. The required internship, as I was saying, there are 6 units required to graduate. The prerequisites, and this is all on the public health site, and your advisor can talk with you about all of this too, is that you've completed HPS 350, you have public health major status, so you're in the professional major, you have completed this internship orientation, and you submit a completed and signed work plan and preceptor agreement, and that you submit ththose forms via the D2L Dropbox to me. And after you complete this and email me your worksheet, you'll be enrolled in a non-credit D2L course site, and that's how you will submit your paperwork. For the honors internship, it's an alternative to HPS 493A, and it's all the same prerequisites as 493A plus enrollment in the Honors College. It's the same paperwork, and there is an extra honors assignment during the internship semester. And as I said, the same forms are required and submitted through the same method, that D2L site. Now for the elective internship, this is optional, so it's not required to graduate. So the prerequisites are HPS 179 completed and HPS 200 completed. Plus you need 6 other public health coursework that you've already completed. You also have the public health orientation completed, the completed and signed paperwork and preceptor agreement, and submit them to that same D2L site that you'll be added to once you email your worksheet to me. So once you're enrolled in units, you have a couple options. Option 1 is to split your 6 unit requirement into 2 semesters. So for instance, you would do 3 units in the spring and 3 units in the summer or the fall. And a lot of students do this, and they do 2 semesters at the same agency. A second option is to enroll in all 6 units in 1 semester. So you would work with one agency for 6 units in the spring. And the third option is that you do 2 internships for 3 units each at 2 different agencies. So you would do one internship in the spring for 3 units, and then a completely different agency in the summer or the fall for 3 units. A note on enrollment for spring 2022. So during your internship semester, students cannot exceed the university maximum limit of 19 units. Your advisor will not over-enroll you during the semester you do your internship. And we strongly recommend, in fact, that you take 16 total units or fewer during your internship semester. So the fewer units you can manage to take while you're doing your internship, the more success you will have with managing your time. And that's especially true if you're going to be doing 6 units, all 6 units in one semester. And note that tuition and fees are assessed for internship units. So your contact hours for spring 2022, if you're enrolled for 6 units, you will need to earn 250 contact hours. That's about 17 hours a week during the semester. If you're enrolled in 3 units, you'll complete 125 contact hours, which is about 8.5 hours per week during the semester. When can your internship contact hours count? The first day is the first day of classes, Wednesday, January 12th, and the last day that you can count internship hours is the last day of classes, Wednesday, May 4th. Here's some advice from your fellow students. Talk to your academic advisor about what semester you should plan to do your internship. So you may find through this process that you indeed want to do it for spring 2022, but you may decide actually it will work better in a future semester. Really consider doing your internship over 2 semesters so you can get a deeper view of the agency work. Yes, highly recommended. Students are always really happy when they have the flexibility to do their internship over 2 semesters. A benefit of doing 2 internships is that I now have a larger professional network. Exactly. So if that's an option for you too, you can see that there's a lot of flexibility and choice, and that you'll just decide with your advisor what the best choice is for you. More advice. Because many opportunities come up during your internship, limit your other commitments so that you can take advantage of these cool experiences. Exactly. That's why we have that cap and why we encourage you to take 16 units or fewer while you're doing your internship. When planning your other classes, be sure to build in time it takes to get to your internship site. Yes, so now that we're back with in-person internships, you're going to want to count that time, account for the time it will take you to get to and from your internship site. Because that's not part of your contact hours. You can't count commuting. So you want to make sure you've got the time for all of your commitments during your internship semester or semesters. So I'm going to go over the responsibilities now. And your responsibilities as a student are to understand the internship criteria, to search for internships, so you do your search all on your own, to be professional when you're reaching out, to communicate your interests and needs, including that the internship must have a public health focus and the number of contact hours you will need, to all possible agencies and preceptors, and to complete all college and agency paperwork to be enrolled successfully in your units. My responsibilities as the course instructor, I share opportunities with College of Public Health students on the hub. I review required paperwork, the work plan and preceptor agreement that you submit in the D2L Dropbox on the prep course site. I communicate with the advising team and they enroll you for your units of internship. I serve as an ongoing contact with you and with your preceptor, that's your site supervisor at your internship agency. And I grade your internship academic assignments and assign the final internship grade. The responsibilities of your site preceptor. So do note that the preceptor is your internship site supervisor, but we use the word preceptor. And their responsibilities include working with their students to design and sign off on those required forms. And note that all forms will require your preceptor's signature. They also mentor all their interns. They will answer questions and resolve issues. They'll discuss issues with me, the internship instructor, as necessary. Typically that's not necessary though. And they will complete midterm and final evaluations and sign off on your activity logs to validate that your hours are accurate. Okay, a little bit more advice from students. Make a copy of the agency and preceptor responsibilities from the internship manual and give to your preceptor when you're asking about opportunities or interviewing for a position. So now, some tips on finding an internship. So public health is really everywhere, so you can be anywhere. And this was proven during the 3 semesters and 2 summers when students had to do fully remote internships. So many internships have returned to in person, but it's good news that we have more remote internships, which is great for our online students and also just great for all of our students, depending on the opportunities that you want to be. So don't feel limited. You are empowered to look for your public health internship wherever you would like to be. So here are some hands-on tips. Start looking now. If you know you're interested in spring, it's not too early to start now, and especially, I'm recording this in September, so I'm saying it's not too early in September. If you're not doing this internship orientation until November, you really want to start looking now so you can be getting out there and telling people that you know, so activating your network. Let people know you're looking for an internship, from family and friends to other classmates and peers to your advisor to your professors or anyone that you work with. And take advantage of college and university resources. I just mentioned talking with your academic advisor. If there are guest speakers in your classes, feel free to approach them or send them an email. Make sure you read all the college and campus announcement emails that come out on Fridays, and make sure you're checking in on the Hub and on Handshake. So the Hub is our student portal, and you'll find that on our main college website, MEZCOPH website. You can see, you'll find the link to click right at the top, and then you'll log in, and then that's password protected, so it's just for our College of Public Health students. And once you're there, you'll go to undergraduate students, you'll find internships, and then you'll look for undergraduate internship opportunities. And then once you get into that section that you can see on the bottom of your screen there where it says internship opportunities, they're broken out by fall, spring, and summer, and then available anytime. So you'll want to be looking for spring and available anytime to see what kind of opportunities are available to you on the Hub. Now, when you're searching, you'll go to the Hub because you can find keywords there that you can use when you're doing your own Google searches. So if you're looking for your own kind of searches, you might go to Google, for instance, and type in healthy habits or epidemiology in Tucson, and I would put those in quotes so that you get a smaller search result, or employee wellness program in Phoenix if you were to want to be in Phoenix. And you can find opportunities in part by narrowing that search with keywords. You can also go to the Hub and look at the kind of things that are listed there. So as you can see on the screen here, something like after school program, health education after school program, or epidemiology assistant. So you could put those sorts of keywords into your search, and that will help you, especially if you're looking outside of the Tucson and Phoenix area, but especially the Tucson area. So for students who are online or want to look someplace wherever you're from, Los Angeles, Omaha, Chicago, you can say, oh, these are the kinds of internships that MEZCOPH has established with the Tucson community. I bet I'm interested in the Southern Arizona AIDS Foundation. I bet there's an AIDS Foundation in Chicago, and that's where my family is, and that's where I'd like to be when I do my internship. So I'm going to search in Chicago for an AIDS Foundation and see what kind of internship I could find there. So there's a little bit of, reapplying that search term to whatever geographic location you want to be in. And yes, you will also get a lot of ideas when you do your search. So you won't be starting from scratch because you will have that help of keywords from the Hub to get you started. Handshake is a great U of A career services platform. So this is not just for MEZCOPH students, this is for all U of A students, but they have internship and career opportunities in Arizona and really throughout the world. They have both paid and unpaid opportunities, so you just create an account, and the more detailed you can make your profile, the more opportunities will become available to you. And nice to know that Handshake is available to you even after you graduate. So don't limit yourself. Look at the Hub. It's a great place to start, but if you don't see something that feels like a great fit to you, then go for it and search on your own. Absolutely, students find internships every semester that they find of their own initiative. I will say, if you are watching this video very close to the deadline for submitting final paperwork in order to be enrolled in an internship, you may have to have a different approach to finding your internship, and then you may want to focus a lot on those ones that are on the Hub, because those are established community agencies that we have relationships with, who regularly host interns, who often host a team of interns. So depending on when you're starting your search and what kind of actions you've already taken to let your network know that you're looking, the hub might end up being your best option. But really, don't limit yourself. Go for it and look for the thing that's going to be the best fit for you. I want to talk about the kinds of support that are available to our students. So these university resources are there for your learning support in your internship search and in your internship itself. So of course, your advisor here through College of Public Health can support you. The Disability Resource Center will also support students if they have any concerns about searching for their internship or getting support with their internship itself. So we have DRC students who are registered with the DRC, and the DRC can communicate with the internship site itself too. Remember that the Dean of Students Office has helpful COVID information for you. Student Success and Retention Innovation and the think tank are there to support you, and they've got great help in terms of coping, time management, de-stress, and lots of things that will help support the kind of work you're doing when you're balancing an internship with your other courses. Okay, more advice from students. Don't be afraid to reach out to possible preceptors even when they are not listed on the hub. I was able to acquire my internship by simply reaching out to my preceptor and saying, "Do you have an internship position open?" I found a really unique opportunity that I was able to get because I asked that simple question. Exactly. Don't limit yourself. Make sure you're reaching out to anyone that you think might have a lead on an internship. Now, more advice, this one from me, and that's to be brave. It's totally okay to make cold calls as a first contact or send out a cold email or an inquiry email. I mentioned if you have a speaker in your class, following up with them. And if you send that email and you don't hear anything back, give that person a week, maybe even 8 or 9 days, certainly a full week in terms of like business days. And then if you haven't heard anything back, you can follow up with another email and re-express your interest. But do take advantage of any opportunities to expand that network so you can, build toward an internship, but also you're just getting your name out there in the community. So if they hear about something, they can refer you to somebody else as well. You'll also want to practice your elevator speech, who you are, focus on what you can do for the agency. You remember you want it to be brief and you want to speak confidently. I have practiced mine in the mirror in my bathroom, so that's definitely encouraged. And you can find, there's tips for coming up with your great elevator speech. But you do want to talk not just about what you are looking for from an agency, but what skills you have to offer. And if you're already in the professional major, you definitely have public health skills to offer. So remember that the only internship you don't have a shot at is one you don't seek out. And reaching out doesn't commit you to accepting. So you can reach out to more than one agency at a time. You can apply for internships more than one at a time. Students every semester will say, gosh, I have these 2 opportunities. I have to decide between them. And I can help you negotiate and come up with language or an email language around that too. So be bold and don't limit yourself. Now, when you are reaching out, you want to make sure that you're prepared. So you want to orient the agency and the preceptor to you. You can share a copy of your resume. You want to orient them to public health if it's an agency that's not familiar with MEZCOPH especially, and share with them your definition of public health. And you want to orient them to the specific internship experience that you will be having through the required internship, especially. And you can do that by sharing a copy of the internship manual. And there's a draft copy of that on the content page of the D2L Prep course site. Remember to be professional in all your inquiries and interactions. You never know when somebody might end up offering you an internship or might have a colleague that they might not be looking, but maybe their colleague is. So make sure you're professional in all those inquiries and interactions. Okay, more advice from students. Start your search as soon as you finish this orientation. This is so important. Yes, absolutely. This is especially important if you feel like you have a sort of niche internship that you're looking for. You're probably going to need to put in more legwork. So if that's you, I hope you're watching this early in the semester to prepare for spring, in the fall semester to prepare for spring. Talk to your classmates, friends, parents, mentors, advisors, everyone. And this is more great advice. Really just kind of let everyone you're chit-chatting with know, hey, I'm looking for an internship for spring if you hear of anything, and then follow up with people if they do say they know of something. Actually practice your elevator speech ahead of time. Yes, remember that mirror can be handy. And create a spreadsheet of agencies that you reach out to and or apply to. Another good tip here. So then you'll know, where did I apply? When did I apply? How much time do I want to wait before I follow up again if I haven't heard anything back and I'm really excited about it? Or you can also keep your notes of, I had an initial conversation. They said they would let me know in 5 days. I didn't hear back. So, on day 6 or 7, I'm going to follow up with a thoughtful email to just let them know I'm really interested and I look forward to hearing from them. Okay, more advice. Before doing an interview, review the agency website and think about your answers to common interview questions. Yes, you should absolutely look at that agency website. You want to have some familiarity with what they do. Think about the kind of questions they might ask you. And then it's also a good idea to think of a couple of questions for them. And that can be as simple as, what is a typical day or week like around there, to even something more specific. What is the current research project that you're working on? Or what is the current outreach campaign that you're working on? Inquire to see if you can shadow current interns or volunteer for a day before committing. Excellent advice. If you've got the time to do this, this will give you a really good idea of what that day-to-day is like at an agency. And then send a thank you note or email after your interview or visit. Very important. It just lets the agency know that you respect their time, that you appreciate their time, and that you're really interested in the work that they're doing. More advice. The more times you put yourself out there, the more likely you are to get your dream internship. Absolutely. So don't feel discouraged if you are reaching out to multiple agencies. Most students do that. And use Dr. Gronwald and your academic advisors as resources as you start your search. Absolutely. I will from time to time offer open office hours to students once they're in that D2L prep course site. Your advisors are always there to help you think through your coursework and what might be a great fit. And I am too. So you can set up time with any of us. So here's how you get enrolled. Very important, you cannot register yourself for HPS 493 units. You have to submit paperwork to me via the D2L prep course site. When I approve it, I notify your advisor, and then you get enrolled. So you need to allow time for all that to happen. Pre-approval is required. I was just going over that. So you're going to want to use the templates provided on the D2L Public Health Internship Prep course site. This is a non-credit course that I will enroll you in once I've received your completed internship orientation paperwork. And that's where you'll find the template for the work plan and the preceptor agreement that you will need to fill out and have your preceptor sign, and you'll sign the work plan as well. So this work plan is completed by you, and the preceptor will help you. It incorporates the U of A mandated assumption of risk and release. It requires your signature and the preceptor's signature. And together with your preceptor, you'll work on a purpose statement, learning objectives, and proposed activities. And remember to be specific and ambitious. So the more specific and ambitious you are, the better experience you'll have with your internship. This is a snapshot of what the work plan looks like. And do note that the work plan itself and your actual experience should have nothing to do with things like coffee runs and filing papers and that kind of busy work where there's not something also substantial attached. Now, you may file some papers from time to time, but that will not be your main work. The internship is not a burden, and it's not just a graduation requirement. It's a great opportunity to make meaningful contributions to the agency and the community. And the preceptors that we work with recognize this and give students really cool projects to work on. The preceptor agreement confirms that your preceptor understands their role in mentoring you and in turning in their required deliverables, which are that midterm and final evaluation, and signing off and approving your contact hours on your activity log. And this does require your preceptor to sign. And this is a snapshot of what your preceptor agreement will look like. Notice the arrow at the bottom of your screen here. You need to provide a CV, resume, or bio sketch for your preceptor when you submit your preceptor agreement and your work plan. So that's a requirement as well in the D2L Dropbox. Okay, due dates for required forms for spring 2022. The deadline for final paperwork for spring 2022 is the first day of classes, Wednesday, January 12th. If you do not have your paperwork signed, completed, submitted to that D2L Public Health Internship Prep page, you will not do an internship in spring 2022. So you have to have that in by January 12th. But there's a lot of time to do that, especially the earlier you're watching this in the fall semester, the more time you have to look. And then once you've emailed me your internship orientation worksheet after you finish this video, you'll be enrolled in this dedicated D2L site. As I mentioned, it's a non-credit site. It's called Public Health Internship Prep. And on the content page, that's where you will find the forms you need under important course information and documents. So this is where you can see that these slides will be available in case you need to refer back to them. The draft version of the internship manual will be there, tips for accessing the hub, and then the templates that you need will also be on this content page. When you are ready to submit your completed and signed paperwork, you will go to the Assignments tab, and then you will look for Upload Paperwork for Spring 2022 Enrollment. You'll see the due date is not until January 12th, 2022. So again, depending on when you're watching this, there may be a lot of time or just a little time for you to get that paperwork in. But it must be submitted by midnight on January 12th if you are going to do an internship in spring 2022. Now, there may be some additional requirements from your agency. So that's the other reason to be on top of this and be getting your internship secured and your paperwork done early enough so that you can ask your host agency if they have any additional forms, steps, trainings, etc., so that you can be ready to hit the ground running and jump right into your internship on January 12th. So an affiliation agreement is a common additional step that's required. This is especially common if you're looking for an internship outside of Arizona. So note if you are a UA online student living in another state, or if you are a main campus or online student, but you want to do your internship in another state, you may need to build in an extra 2 to 4 weeks for an affiliation agreement to go through. You may need to get a background check. Build in 1 to 2 weeks for that. You may need to get a TB test or have other medical proof of health status. If you are interning in a medical facility doing a public health project, you will very likely have to show that you have received both doses of your COVID vaccine. So the U of A doesn't require that of students, but many internship sites are, and you will have to comply with that in order to work at that internship agency or find a different internship. So again, starting your search early allows you time to get all of these required forms and steps completed, hopefully with no stress. Okay, some more advice from students. You can see that your fellow students really have a lot of good advice to share. Don't accept an internship if you're not sure about it being a good fit for you. Absolutely, very good advice. Talk to Dr. Gronwald if you aren't sure how to ask for more time to make a decision or decline an internship. Yes, I help students with this every semester. We can talk on Zoom or the phone. I can help. You can run a draft of an email past me. I'm absolutely happy to help with that. Know that your preceptor may take time to complete the forms, so start working on them ASAP. Yes, you want to give your preceptor at least 2 to 3 days, if not a week, to build into their schedule time to go over the preceptor agreement and work plan with you. So you want to give yourself time to make sure you're getting that done. And because you're going to be working with preceptors over the winter break, you're also going to want to allow time for preceptors to maybe not be responding to emails for depending on what time off they may be taking for December and January holidays. Now I want to have this important acknowledgement that you're learning, which means you don't know everything. You're human, which means mistakes happen, and I am here to help you strategize. So I'm here to help you. Things happen. You know, most students find internships with no problems at all. But just know I'm here regardless of what's going on, and so is your advisor. We work together as a team to support you and help you strategize and get into an internship so you can have a great experience. There are graded academic assignments once you're enrolled in the internship units, and I'll talk more about that once you're actually in the internship class. But what you need to know right now is that we have these academic assignments, which are largely reflective because federal regulations require that there's an academic component in addition to your work experience. This helps protect you. It gives you checkpoints. It gives you allies here on campus. So it's really beneficial to students to have that, and it helps you process your learning. So in addition to your contact hours, you'll have the hours that you will do on some reports and a LinkedIn profile and an e-portfolio, things like that. Here's some common questions that students ask about the internship. Why don't you just assign me to an internship? Well, it's because students are unique and your post-graduation plans are unique, and I don't want to be the one that decides that you're going to work for the community food bank if you want to find an internship that's related to epidemiology. So you will do the searching, you will use all the resources that this video has discussed, and this will also prepare you for the job search because no one's going to just knock on your door with a job. You'll have to put a little legwork in there too. So this is good practice for that. Can I get paid for my internship? Absolutely. It is my wish that someday all students would be paid for their internships. That's not the case right now. It's kind of a small percentage of students at this point in public health that get paid internships, but if you find that, go for it and we will be thrilled. Can I do my internship at my regular job? Maybe is the answer to that. There are specific rules from the University of Arizona about doing an internship at your existing regular job. So if that is an opportunity that's of interest to you, you'll need to talk to me individually about that. You'd have to make sure that the internship was public health focused, that you had a separate supervisor, and a couple of other things too. So just be in touch with me if that's an opportunity for you. Does my internship need to be in Tucson? Absolutely not. As I've discussed, it can be anywhere because public health is everywhere. Can I do multiple internships? Yes, I've talked about that too. Some students prefer to split that, 2 different sites over 2 different semesters. And sometimes students even choose to do another internship as an elective. So just depending on your other coursework, a lot of options for your internships. Do internships lead to jobs? Yes, every semester students get a job through their internships. Sometimes it's not directly with their internship agency, but with a contact that they've made in their new network from their internship. So yes, that happens frequently. And will my internship be valuable and fun? Absolutely. If it is not, reach out to me so we can strategize. But like I said earlier, most of our students say this is their number one favorite or one of their top favorite things that they do at MEZCOPH. So you're going to have a great experience. A few required notices as I begin to wrap up. The internship instructor, college, and university are not responsible for any financial obligations, including but not limited to travel, transportation, housing arrangements, medical care for injuries related to the internship experience. So your next step is to finish that orientation worksheet and email it to me, and then I will give you access to the dedicated D2L site, Public Health Internship Prep course, and that's where you'll find the templates and a lot more information. Remember, my email address is laurag1@email.arizona.edu. You can schedule office hours with me by emailing me, and we can set up an appointment time for Zoom or by phone. And don't forget to lean on your public health undergraduate advising team. Mariah, Elsa, Anais, Abba, and Melanie are amazing, and they can give you a lot of help to get you started as well. So I wish you the best of luck, and I look forward to working with you on your internship. Thanks.